Hello there. My name is Jordan Lenchitz, and I'm a PhD student in the College of Music here at Florida State University. I'm a music theorist in the Department of Music Theory and Composition, and I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, which explains why I love living here in sunny Tallahassee. Outside of music theory, my hobbies include postmodernism, post-postmodernism, and creating and consuming experimental sound art and experimental video art. I am most passionate about interdisciplinary and computer-aided approaches to music, music analysis, and music composition. My previous training at Indiana University was as a composer and performer. I play the piano and occasionally sing. And I found as I performed and composed that I was wondering really what was going on in the music that I was performing and creating. And in the 21st century, we are so incredibly fortunate that we have these powerful computer tools that can help us understand, create, and then understand what we create more deeply when we're talking about music. And the great thing about computer-aided tools is that they allow us to also consider music from other disciplinary angles. So these often include philosophy, mathematics. I'm personally into psychology, psychoacoustics, psychophysics. And so the combination of computers and the approaches they allow us to take to music with the other disciplines that these computer-aided approaches tangentially touch on is just what I'm super passionate about. My research centers around two main themes. The first of these themes is the acoustic features of music itself. A lot of the time, music theorists and others like to think about music as notes on a page, and we analyze its structure that way. But what I am most concerned about is notes as sound waves entering our ears. And so a question that I like to answer, or a question I'm trying to answer is, what makes barbershop quartet chords ring? And another question I'm trying to answer is, how and why do we hear this ringing better sometimes than others? So by using computer-aided tools and doing some behavioral and ideally brain imaging studies from a psychological perspective, I hope to answer these questions about music as sound. And then the other theme that my research revolves around is the difference between trained musicians and untrained musicians, aka everyday musical listeners, because it seems that lots of people, with or without any musical training, love and appreciate and enjoy music. And so my research seeks to explore what exactly are the differences when it comes to creating, listening to, and enjoying music between people with musical training and without musical training. And this involves something known as implicit perceptual learning, which is not the kind of learning you do in a classroom, but the kind of learning you do just by living your life and your brain taking note of every time you see something you haven't seen before and every time you see something that you have seen before. So it is my hope that by exploring both the differences between trained musicians and untrained musicians, as well as the acoustic features of music itself, I am able to answer deeper questions about the role of learning with respect to music and music expertise in general. There are three main reasons I came to Florida State University to do my PhD in music theory. The first of these is that the faculty in my department, the Department of Music Theory and Composition in the College of Music, are world-class. They're remarkable scholars, incredible mentors, and very good at guiding our professional development as young scholars ourselves. The second reason I came here is because I knew from the second I stepped foot on campus for my interview weekend that interdisciplinarity was not just a word here at Florida State. It was a real thing. And when I had 48 hours during my interview weekend back in February a couple of years back, I was able to wander into some departments, have conversations with faculty who knew nothing about music, and yet they were willing and able to help me formulate and start to answer questions that were pertinent to my own musical research. And the third and final reason I came here to Florida State University is because the teaching setup I have as a graduate teaching assistant in the College of Music is really incredible. I get classroom teaching experience every semester, building my resume, becoming a better teacher, and getting to share my enthusiasm with a lot of wonderful Florida State undergraduate music students. A very large number of people have been influential to my success here at Florida State University. Obviously, the faculty in my department, the Department of Music Theory and Composition, have been very helpful. Outside of my department, faculty in the departments of psychology and electrical engineering have given me great tips on how to actually make my interdisciplinary research dreams a reality. As a recipient of a legacy fellowship, I also have been very fortunate to be able to connect with other graduate students receiving fellowships through the Fellow Society. And so a lot of my fellow fellows have helped me by listening to my research ideas, which they also know ostensibly very little about, and giving their honest feedback to help me narrow them and focus them. And then last but not least, the graduate school has an incredible office that helps connect graduate students with funding for their research. And so I would like to thank the graduate school for having that, because it has helped me fill out a lot of grant applications, which hopefully will lead to me being funded for future research opportunities. When I arrived at Florida State, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but I wasn't sure what kind. After just a few years here, I already am convinced that I would really like to follow in the footsteps of my faculty in my area in the College of Music and become a university professor, because the blend of research and teaching that I have already gotten invaluable practical experience with as a graduate student is something that I would love to be able to continue into my professional career. And so now that I know that I don't just want to be a teacher, but I want to be a university professor, I am able to make very tangible progress toward that goal every year here at Florida State. The thing that I have enjoyed most about my time at Florida State University has definitely been my opportunity as a graduate teaching assistant in the College of Music. I get to work with bright and motivated undergrads from all over Florida, the United States, and the world, and it is just so lovely to be able to share my enthusiasm, see that enthusiasm reflected back in them, and then also, while also honing my skills as a teacher and motivator of potential future music theory students. And so there have been many things here at Florida State that I have really enjoyed, but definitely getting teaching experience and working with delightful students has been by far my favorite. My advice to those thinking about pursuing a graduate degree would be to think about a graduate degree in terms of the product of a lot of hard work in a graduate program. So a graduate degree isn't obtained in a vacuum. It's obtained from an institution by working with faculty and student colleagues. And so if you're thinking about a graduate degree, I would encourage you to think about the type of graduate institution from which you would like to earn that degree, because that ultimately is going to make all the difference.